Petro Poroshenko, the former president of Ukraine, at such a time as this, we really appreciate you taking the time to speak to us here on BBC World News. Can I start by asking you, Mr. Poroshenko, where are you right now and what is happening there?
Thank you for covering us and for delivering the truth to the whole world from the most dangerous war after World War II in Europe. And I'm now in the center of Kiev. I'm just returned from the evacuation of the Ukrainian civilians from Irpin, where the dozens of civilians were killed during the last 2 days. And Putin acts as a bloody butcher, kills children, kills women, and we see with our own eyes the place that just an hour ago Russian kills the family with 2 children. People melt snow to drink water, and this is a disastrous humanitarian crisis there. No electricity, no heating, no food, no medicine, and I'm proud that only today me and our battalion is provide the security for the evacuation, more than 3,500 until now. And I hope and keep my fingers crossed that additional several thousand will do before end of the day. We definitely saving the life of these people. And this is extremely important now. And to demonstrate how bloody is the Russian troops, to demonstrate that he has absolutely no limits, and Putin is not just an aggressor. Putin is just a military criminal, a killer.
So do you believe that Russia will continue or honor these humanitarian corridors and the ceasefire that is in place in some cities right now?
Unfortunately, I have very negative experience during my presidency for communication with Putin. And this is my request to the whole world. Please don't trust Putin. Because Putin promised me many times humanitarian corridor, ceasefire, withdrawal of the Russian troops, and many things. None of them during the 5 years of my presidency, during the 8 years of the bloody war, Putin never keep his words. But at the same time, we should never give up, and we should never be afraid of Putin. And Ukrainian united as a nation. I have several meetings with the President Zelensky, and we demonstrate that since 24th of February, we are different. And we are very much appreciated that the whole world now is united. Yesterday, we see the great session of the House of Commons. We very much appreciated sanction, which every single day, while Putin is not stopping killing civilians, every single day, while Putin continue the attack against peaceful Ukraine, pressure on sanctions should be increased. If we start with the 10 Russian oligarchs who are supporting Putin, then it would 90 oligarchs. Now it is 200 oligarchs. And this is the right way. When we introduced yesterday the embargo on the oil supply, on the gas supply, definitely the whole world should join this initiative, because this is immoral for the whole world to pay to Putin money for killing Ukrainian citizens, Ukrainian civilians. The only sin of Ukraine is just we want to be free, we want to be democratic, we want to return my nation to the European family, and we do our best. And I think Ukrainian troops and Ukrainian people surprise the world.
We surprise the world. What is your reaction? For instance, what is your reaction to the US not allowing Poland to use its air base to send you fighter jets?
First of all, I think that I'm an optimist, and I think we still have a chance urgently to receive this flight, this plane, military jet. I think we absolutely necessary to close the sky, and this is with the interest of the whole world. This is not in the interest of Ukraine, because we want to close the sky above the nuclear power station, which nuclear contamination has no any borders. And tomorrow, if Putin will continue the attack on the nuclear power station, this is 10, 12 times more powerful than Chernobyl. And nobody knows where tomorrow appear the nuclear disaster in Great Britain, in UK. And if you're afraid to attack Russians for closing the sky, please give it to us. We have one of the best pilots in the world. And the evidence of that is more than 50 Russian planes and more than 90 Russian helicopters, which for the 2 weeks are on the ground, and their pilots either killed or we have them as a prisoners of war. And just remember,
what do you say to NATO members who do not want to see a no-fly zone because they believe that will drag NATO countries into this conflict?
Again, if it is non-compromise, non-consensus on the non-flying zone, give us the plane. If it is not given by NATO, give it on the bilateral position. Give it from Poland, give it from Slovakia, because everything of that, this is about humanity. And this is the test. You should every single day pass this test. Are you strong enough to protect humanity, to protect future? And can you imagine how difficult it is now? Could you explain now the children from Irpenia, from Kharkiv, or from Chernihiv, who is second week in the bomb shelter without water, without food, without medicine? Could you explain the discussion about this? Ukraine should receive the old former Soviet Union plane MiG-29 or not? And I was very much appreciate that the people of US, people of UK, people of Europe, more than 60% supporting close the sky, and more than 85% supporting give Ukraine the plane. Please, and be a democratic nation, and if people want that, do it as soon as possible.
You'll know the worry is that this will escalate the conflict, because we've already had Dmitry Peskov in the past few hours saying if that happened, it would lead to a very dangerous scenario. But can I ask you, Mr. Poroshenko, about the talks that are taking place, the foreign ministers meeting in Turkey later today? There is this call from Russia that Ukraine become neutral and that Ukraine give up its calls to join NATO. Do you think that Kyiv, that President Zelensky should consider that in order to stop the bombs and stop the fighting?
First of all, coming back to your previous question, NATO, please understand that. NATO is already involved in the conflict. Don't have any illusion. Point number two, Ukrainians here fighting for freedom and democracy and for NATO, making Russia weaker and making Europe safer, and paying for that the biggest price they can, their lives and their blood. We are here with the position of Russian troops several kilometers from this place where we broadcasting. And together with me, it was all the journalists from the whole world, including the BBC. They see how dangerous is it. And coming back to the this position, I just want to remind you, when I wasn't elected as a president in the year 2014, when Russia attacked us, do you imagine, please, Ukraine was neutral. We don't have any NATO perspective. And this is not make it difficult for Russia to attack my country. That's why, please, don't follow the Putin trap.
So you believe, but you do believe that Ukraine then could give up right into its constitution that it will not become or ask to become part of NATO?
Look,
would you be looking for security guarantees in exchange for that?
I'm the president of Ukraine who put in the constitution the future NATO membership. But I am fifth president, and today we have a President Zelensky. And I do my best to support the president of Ukraine and demonstrate the unity to give him the mandate for negotiation. And I hate the idea to make his position more difficult, because he should be strong with Ukrainian unity, strong with the Western military jet to supply it now. And this is about, please, this is not the choice of Putin, you should understand. This is the choice of Ukrainian people and choice of the NATO member states.
But Mr. Poroshenko, do you believe that if you gave up the right to join NATO, if you said you were a neutral country, that would be enough for President Putin, because he's backed into a corner right now. He won't walk away without something substantial to show.
You are absolutely right. This is not the purpose of Putin. The purpose of Putin is to occupy not only Ukraine. Purpose of Putin, this is the war against the West, against you. And we should be strong enough not accepting his mad blackmailing, because if once upon a time you accept and saying, for example, okay, Crimea is Russian, Donetsk in Russian, and he wanted to build up the corridor between Donetsk and Crimea, who knows? Tomorrow Putin wants to build up the corridor through Lithuania between Russia and Kaliningrad. With that situation, you also would think maybe we should feed the aggressor. Please learn very attentively year 1938. This is playing a very important role in the British history. At the same time, learn the experience of the Prime Minister Churchill when he created the government of the national unity, and the whole world was united and attacked Hitler to save the world. Believe me, now it is exactly this situation. I hate an idea to explain the Britain how to fight for sovereignty and territorial integrity. And please, no concession and no appeasement to Putin.
Mr. Poroshenko, you stand there with your unit in your army fatigues, but you have many millions in the bank. You are an incredibly successful businessman. What are you doing with your money right now? Are you channeling it into the military effort or the humanitarian effort?
Spending both on humanitarian positions, supporting people of Ukraine, as all of Ukrainians. You cannot imagine how is the unity of Ukraine is with a charity to support our army, to create the weapons. Okay, one second. Here we have the pickup which we built on my own money, and that would be the first, second, and third. And if while we waiting the weapons from UK, while we waiting the weapons from NATO, we do it by ourselves. I don't know if you see it or not, but we do it by ourselves. We're spending the money, and just today I do maximum I can, because war make all of us equal. From president, from former president, to the soldiers in the field. And I kindly ask you, please join us. And we are not talking even about the money. We're talking about the defensive weapon.
Mr. Poroshenko, how do you see this ending?
That's a good question, because I think how to say it in English. We should throw out Putin from the Ukrainian soil. And we have much stronger words in Ukrainian, which now start to be the mem. We win because truth is with us. We win because world is with us. We win because this is our soil. We're protecting our future, our children, our families, and we're protecting the freedom, the world, and definitely the victory will be with us. I have no doubt with that.
Petro Poroshenko, thank you very much for joining us from Kyiv.
Thank you.